Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
Welcome to the Kim Commando Show podcast for the weekend of April 6th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Commando Show. Here's hour one.
I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting, and this happened in Naples, Florida. Could you imagine? You're just sitting there at home with your kids, and something crashes through the roof, through the second floor, through the first floor. It's a piece of space junk, weighed 2 pounds. It's believed to be some old batteries. Yes, I said old batteries that the International Space Station just threw away about 3 years ago, hoping that they would just burn up when they were coming back to Earth. So think about this one. There are over 25,000 pieces of space junk floating around Earth right now. That's a lot of stuff. Speaking of, did you hear about the film that they're making where Dallas gets destroyed by space junk? Yes, it's a film where Dallas gets destroyed by space junk. You know what they're calling it? Debris Does Dallas. Oh, yes, that was a great one. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing now is a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And you have tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the most trusted show, the award-winning show about all things digital. And you can find us on over 420 top stations just across the United States. And you can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free, inside the Commando community. Or if you're on Apple, go ahead and search for Kim Commando Show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And again, inside the Commando community. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching 375,000 American servicemen and women in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea get the Kim Commando Show. I just love that. All right. Every single day, I go to at least 35 different websites to make sure that you and I are both up to date on what's going on in the techverse. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about tech. It's happening right now. And this Monday, yes, it's going to happen. The total eclipse is going to pass all over America from Uvalde, Texas, all the way to Houghton, Maine. It's going to be a gorgeous sight for sure. But here's what's happening on social media. All the conspiracy theorists are out. And a lot of them are Gen Zers. They've never really witnessed a solar eclipse, and they didn't really care about it in 2017. So here's an end of the world sample. Cell phones are going to be down forever throughout maybe the whole week, and the power is going to go out. Okay, it's not going to really happen. Okay, another one is that the eclipse is going to darken the entire Earth for 5 days. Oh, no. How about God's wrath theory? God is judging us. The proof is that the eclipse passes through 8 cities named Nineveh, an Old Testament city that God judged. It doesn't. It actually goes through 2. Finally, stock up on water, survival food, cash. It's okay if you want to, but you don't need it for the eclipse. Okay, but here's the deal. No matter where you are in the United States, head to science.nasa.gov. That's science.nasa.gov. And they have this beautiful eclipse map. And you can see how it's going to affect you. It's really going to be seen all throughout the country. I mean, 49% as far as coverage in the state of California, 84% of the eclipse is going to be seen in Atlanta. So you still need to have your glasses. Now, fake solar proof glasses are for sale online. Get the wrong ones, you're going to damage your eyeballs. So look for ISO 12312-2. That's 12312-2. You want those on the frames. All right, moving on to number 2, TikTok is defending itself. And they're saying, we don't really collect that much information off of our users. And so I don't know why everybody's so upset. Okay, here's a list of everything that TikTok, the communist China app, is getting from us. every message that you sent or received, who you sent it to, your browsing habits, what you buy, the files that you download, the nuances of your keystrokes, the backdrop of your videos, points of interest around you, biometric data, faces, expressions, every text, every tap, every location, all handed over to the Chinese government. So how do you feel about TikTok right now? Okay, it's still your call. If you still want to use TikTok knowing that they're getting a copy of every single thing that you do on your phone, my advice is just use a burner phone. Moving on to number 3. Wow. Put the phone away. Over 60% of folks admit to using their phones in their cars. 24% say they are actually using Instagram and scrolling while they're driving. Oh, that's pretty scary. New report from the Governor's Highway Safety Administration and Cambridge Mobile Telematics. Oh, they took a look at cell phone data of drivers in 4 states that have gone hands-free: Alabama, Michigan, Missouri, and Ohio. Now, in these states, you cannot touch your phone at all. No changing music, directions, making calls, texting, nothing. If you do get caught, you have to pay a big fine. But listen to this. In Ohio, since they put their foot down for a hands-free law about a year ago, they've managed to avoid over 3,000 accidents, prevented injuries for 1,700 people, and saved 14 lives going hands-free. Moving on to number 4. This is really interesting. An Army vet was busted for lying about his disabilities to snag benefits. But the real shocker is how they caught him. After receiving a tip that Bruce Hay was not really disabled, Kansas cops filled his front porch for 68 days, 15 hours a day. They didn't need a warrant. What? Yes, they put a camera on a pole across the street from his house. And then there they saw what he was doing, going in and out of the house, who was coming, who was going. They learned a lot about Mr. Hayes' activities and associations. So the question is watching someone's house like this against the Fourth Amendment, which obviously protects against unreasonable searches? Now, the courts have decided that since the cameras are pretty much everywhere these days, there is not an expectation of privacy in the front of your house anymore. Wow. And finally, this coming in at number 5, it's a new kind of circus act. Forget the lions and tigers and bears and elephants. No, today's circuses don't have animals. Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus closed its doors in 2017. We all remember because, oh my gosh, it was just horrible how they were treating animals. Over 150 violations. So they're rolling out the red carpet. They're coming back in business with Bailey, the robotic dog. This little dog can roll and leap and dance wirelessly. You can actually buy one of these yourself. It's the Unitree Robotics Go 1 model, about $2,700. It has a 45-minute battery life. So the worst thing that the circus can do is forget to charge it, right? Oh, how about a bad joke? You ready? How do you kill a circus? How do you kill a circus? Anyone? Go for the juggler. Oh, yeah, that was great. All right, still to come, we have some great tips. Oh, my gosh, how to opt out of unsolicited credit cards. Is the Wi-Fi safe on airplanes? And also we've got some ways to catch creepy Airbnb hosts. And, of course, we have all of your great phone calls. And you have me, Kim Commando. Hey, I just want to give you $500. I'm going to give you a $500 Amazon gift card, but you have to enter to win it. How? Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, we're going to talk about how you can get Amazon Prime movie tickets for free. But how about first we get started with Elaine in Corpus Christi, Texas. Hey, Elaine.
Well, I was a very foolish person, and I ended up getting scammed. And basically, my question for you, after I've settled down, I was going through websites looking for FBI somewhere to report what had happened to me. And I kept seeing these websites about people being able to get your money back for you. And so I was wondering, I needed to ask the digital goddess if any of these are legit.
Well, how did you get scammed?
I was on one of my genealogy websites, and all of a sudden this thing jumped out, and for some reason I had my volume up, and it started yelling at me and flashing at me, and I'm going, and I panicked.
Okay.
And stupid thing number one, it had a phone number for Microsoft Shield.
Okay.
And I tried closing things, and it was telling me, don't shut down your computer, blah, blah, blah. Stupid me, I called the phone number. And so this fellow on the other end, he said, okay, the first thing I asked him, how much is this going to cost me? Oh, nothing, this is free. It's Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he had me run some scans. I typed in everything. He did not have, wasn't doing anything in my computer. So I was typing in all this stuff. And it came up that I had been infected by tiny bank Trojan. And he showed me a Wikipedia article about what tiny bank Trojan was. And so then he said, on a secure line, I'm going to contact you, because I do 2 credit cards in my bank on my computer. And so we needed to contact all 3 of them to let them know what's going on and stop them. So the first thing we did was go to my credit union, and he said, we're going to do this on a secure line on a different number.
Was this all by phone only, or is it video
ma'am.
too? Okay. All right.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
he's
no.
Okay.
Just phone.
Okay.
So he comes on and says he's from my credit union, and his name is Alex, and blah, blah, blah. We're going through all this stuff. And he comes back and he said, there are 2 charges pending against my savings account. One of them was a $500 one for Amazon. The other one was $21,000 something from Pornhub. And I'm going, okay. And I said, no, I did not do those.
Okay.
And so he goes back and like he's talking to somebody, and he comes back, we can get rid of the Amazon one, but the other one was pre-approved. And I said, what do you mean it's pre-approved? And he said, we called your phone number, and the person on the other end line said it was okay to do that. And I said, I didn't do that. Did not do that. And my word of advice to anybody is, first of all, don't panic. Take a deep breath and turn your computer off.
right.
That's my advice. Anyway, so then he says the only way we can get rid of it is to create a insufficient funds scenario in my account, so that charge would bounce, and then it would be gone, and then every time I tell this story, I get sicker and sicker to my stomach because I was so damn stupid. Excuse me. Anyway, so he had me. We went out and we withdrew $20,000 out of. I had 2 savings accounts, so we took money out of both of those savings accounts. Had to go to 2 different little branches to get all of it, and then they send me to this ATM machine, which I now realize what I ended up buying was Bitcoin. And as I'm driving back home from Corpus Christi back to my home, and I just started thinking, and I knew I'd been had before I even got home. How stupid it was.
Wow.
Ugh.
So all
like
totaled,
said,
how much were you scammed out of? Like what, 21 grand?
20,000. Yep. Anyway, and like I said, and here's the kicker to it. My son's in IT, and I got chewed real bad from him, about, I know better than this, blah, blah, blah. How'd you do that? Anyway, but and then after that, he's been sympathetic. But
Well, you know what? Don't beat yourself up too much. You got scammed. You fell for it. You panicked. You thought you were doing the right thing, and you just have to move on. I mean,
right.
you can continue to berate yourself, or you can empower yourself, which is what you just did by telling that story, because who knows how many people you just helped who may fall for the same thing, but then they're going to say, you know what? I heard Elaine talking about this on the Kim Komando show. Sounds just like what she went through. I'm going to turn my computer off. So now you become an advocate. Okay.
Right.
What I don't want you to do is fall for the scam recovery scams.
I got that phone call when I was at the bank the next morning to change my accounts. They told me they would call me back at 9:30 in the morning, and sure enough, they did. And by that time, I was livid. And when he called me, he said, "Are you at home?" And I said, "No, I'm at the bank getting new accounts. And I hope your grandmother's proud of you, what you scammed an old lady," and hung up on him. I was so mad. Then the next day, I got another phone call telling me that they were the Bitcoin support something or other, and they were going to help me get my money back. And man, did I give that guy an earful. I was so angry.
Well, at him. Did you file a complaint with the FBI?
Now that's another story. Not directly. I did. I started to in the office in Corpus Christi. I couldn't get into the office unless I had an appointment. And the 2 web sites they have you go to fill out forms about your scam. Neither one of the forms fit the scenario of what happened to me. None of it fit.
Okay, well,
so I ended up going to the Corpus Christi Police Department and filed a report there, and they told me to file a report with the Federal Trade Commission, which I did.
Okay, and then I would also go back to that bank, and I'd say, how come you let me do this? How come? These are all the red flags. Have I ever withdrew $20,000 at once in the history of my account with you? Have I ever done this? You need to fight with the bank to get your money back too. They should be protecting you. You are their customer. And make sure that you do file that complaint with the FTC. I'd be a little bit angry at the FBI. I'd try that one more time. And make sure that you write all of this out as a scenario, because if you have it all written out now while it's fresh in your mind, is that when it comes time to share your story with everybody else, you can just say, yep, here's the Word doc. Go ahead, read it for yourself. But don't fall in for any recovery scams. Anybody who says that they can get the money back, they cannot get the money back. They're going to steal from you again and again and again and again. If you do see something because your son's in IT, make sure that you run this by him as well. He's a smart guy. Okay. And he's not going to, you go to him for help now. He's not going to berate you. He's going to say, you know what, Mom, thanks for letting me try to help you. Elaine, I'm so sorry. Everybody else who's listening, learn from this, please. You got to be brave to make that phone call. You really, really do. All right. Here's what I want you to do. Go to primepremiere.amazon.com, primepremiere.amazon.com, because there you're going to see a list of movie screenings near you. And then you can reserve tickets. That's right. You can see movies for free. Oh, my gosh. And check the site a week ahead and you can grab up to 2 tickets for a 7 p.m. showing. They say you want to arrive by 6:15 p.m. because what? You get complimentary popcorn and a drink. Oh, here's a Prime Amazon membership that you didn't know about, I bet. Once again, it's primepremiere.amazon.com, primepremiere.amazon.com. All right, still to come. Oh, you're in a real treat. I have a great little snippet to play you from an interview this past week that I did with Guy Kawasaki. And of course, we have more of your phone calls here on this Coast to Coast broadcast of the Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. All right, what we're talking about is the Wi-Fi safe on the airplanes, really good to use. Ways to catch some creepy Airbnb and Vrbo hosts. And before we get to all of that, have you ever found yourself just overflowing in your mailbox by saying like, oh, I'm so tired of these unsolicited credit card offers. How do I make it stop? There's something called opt-out pre-screen. Okay, it's a tool developed by credit bureaus. So what you do is you go to optoutprescreen.com. Once again, optoutprescreen.com. Then you can say, you know what? Take me off the list. I don't want to be on this list anymore. All right. The other day, I had such a great time during Kim Komando Today. That's our podcast that we do video as well as audio on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You can watch the show and get the show audio wherever you want. And but really, Facebook.com/Kim Komando, YouTube.com/Kim Komando, X.com, wherever, Rumble.com/Kim Komando. But anyway, this past week, Guy Kawasaki came on board because he and I actually know each other. Yeah, so I like to say I know Guy Kawasaki. He's got a brand new book out called Think Remarkable, and he does a podcast called Remarkable People. So he combined all this information that he got from people about being remarkable, and I happened to be on his podcast, I don't know, probably like 9 months or so ago, about everything that we've done here on the show. And he's got a philosophy about how you become remarkable, that there are three things, okay, that you have grit, that you have growth, and you have grace. Here, take just a listen, just a snippet of the interview. So bring us back into your Mac days. What was that like working with Steve Jobs?
It was an amazing time. And, all the movies, all the books, everything you've ever heard, seen, read, they're all true. He was a very difficult person to work for. I was afraid that he would humiliate me in public. And contrary to every theory of HR where you meet with your employees, you develop mutually acceptable goals and you focus on the positive and, all the positivity and all that. He did none of that. He just scared the crap out of me. And I did some of my best work being scared. So contrary to every theory you have about positivity, sometimes fear works.
So there was no positive sandwich where like Steve Jobs would say, you know what, Guy, I'm so happy that you're here and you're bringing your talents to Apple. And, it's just amazing what you do every single day. Now, what you did right here just totally sucks, but I have the confidence that you have the skill and the wherewithal and the motivation to bring this to the next level.
And then right after that, this pallet of lead fell from space and hit the guy in the head. I mean, I'll tell you a true story. So the reason I got my job in the Macintosh division was nepotism. So my college classmate and friend hired me. I didn't have the right background in work or academics. So after I interview with Steve, my friend goes to Steve and says, so what did you think of Guy? And Steve says to him, well, I guess he's okay, but if he screws up, I'm going to fire you too. So that was my ringing endorsement. That was my onboarding at Apple. I'm going to fire your friend if you screw up too.
Well, there was you write in the book about Apple's Think Different campaign.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
Okay. This is a very expensive story, so I hope you appreciate it. So in 1997, Apple had the Think Different advertising campaign. This is the one that featured Albert Einstein and, Amelia Earhart, Richard Branson, Nelson Mandela, Einstein. And the thinking was, and it's still true apparently with your guests, that if you use a Macintosh, you had to think different like these innovators and visionaries, because back then everybody was going to be using Windows. So if you thought different like Einstein and Picasso and Richard Branson, then you thought different and you used a Macintosh. So anyway, Lee Clow from Chiat introduces these video ads to the marketing team. And at the end, he says to Steve, I have 2 copies of the videotape. I'll give one to you and I'll give one to Guy. And Steve says, don't give one to Guy. And so I said, what's the matter, Steve? Don't you trust me? And Steve says, Guy, yes, I do not trust you. So now, this is one of those man or mouse moments in your life, right? This is one of those moments when you look back and you say, why was I such a chicken? Why did I not stand up to him? And I was not going to let that happen to me. So as soon as he said, yeah, I don't trust you, I said, yes, Steve, it's okay. I don't trust you either. So I figured that cost me about $100 million in stock options. But now I get to tell that story on Kim Commando. I mean, that's worth it.
Yeah, well, we do have all those moments. Mm-hmm. I mean, where you sit there and you're like, okay, do I really say what I feel, or do I just kind of suck it up, buttercup, right? Now, you definitely want to get the entire interview, okay? And we actually went really long on the podcast with him because we had so much to talk about, okay? And what's going on with Jane Goodall and other remarkable people that he met. So again, to get the audio podcast, wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Commando Today. It's not the Kim Commando Show. It's Kim Commando Today. You may remember Andrew Babinski. He was our call screener for so many years. He's my co-host on there. And Ali Sullivan comes on from time to time. So you definitely don't want to miss those days. So it's wherever you get your podcast audio, search for Kim Komando today. And for the video feed, it's really just the easiest place to go is on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Kim Komando. Once again, youtube.com/Kim Komando. But you can find it on Rumble and Facebook too. All right, let's go back to all of your great phone calls right now. Jillian in Bangor, Maine.
I run a very small restaurant, work off of Route 1, so you've got to go out of the way.
Okay.
I'm going into my 4th season because it's Maine and generally restaurants are seasonal. And when I went to reopen last June for the season, I noticed that Facebook and Instagram had taken away my location tag. So I filled out help tickets, said, please, people can't tag me. And also they can't find me unless they have a history of liking my business and being, having me in their queue or whatever. So it's been a big challenge because social media and word of mouth are my primary forms of advertisement. No response from Facebook. Go figure. No response from Meta. I'm just stuck in this. You can't get a person. So I don't really know what to do, but it's hurting my business because people come and they'll find us. They'll find us on Google if they're searching for restaurants near me.
Wow. And Meta is not doing anything, which is so typical. It's so frustrating that we have this major billion-dollar corporation, but they have no customer service. It's like, okay, thanks. Imagine for just a second, Jillian, if that you weren't able to call United Airlines. Okay. It's like, oh, okay. I guess everything's just fine with my flight and you canceled it and there's nothing I can do. I just have to sit on the sidelines. We would be so ticked off. But for some reason, we get to tech companies, we think it's fine. Have you tried DMing them on social? I'm talking about going to their X account, looking at their Instagram account, and then making a public plea to say, hey, listen, here's what's the problem is. I need help right now. And so at this point, you have to get super aggressive. Okay. Because this is your livelihood, and congratulations, because running a restaurant is not easy. And we do want to have check-ins, we do want to have mentions, and we want to use hashtags because we want to have geotags so that this way, as you said on social, that people can go ahead and find you readily. What I would do at this point is I would go onto X, find the Meta, Facebook, Instagram accounts, anyone that I could find, and state my case and say, this is my problem. What can we do to fix this? I'm not getting any help, and I need help now in order to fix this. Okay, the next thing I would do after I do all that is that I would try to, I have a phone number I can give you for Meta. And we have the phone number on our website as well. So if you search for Meta phone number at komando.com, we have the phone numbers, for example, like Amazon and Microsoft and all these other companies that you can't find a phone number for. But there's no guarantee that that's going to get you to somebody who can help. I mean, it's basically just their corporate number. And that's why it might be good if you could actually find somebody who's in charge of small business at Meta. And the way that you do that is you just do a search for press release in Meta and small business. And inside there, they normally have a happy quote. And then once you have that person's name, you can call and ask for them. Then the other thing you can do is that you get onto LinkedIn and you find this person on LinkedIn, and then you get a certain number of free passes for you to contact somebody who you don't know on LinkedIn. And then after that, they want you to pay. And then I would drop them a note. I would go full aggressive. Anybody who I can find, help me fix this problem. I would just get, like I said, full blown. This is my problem. I need your help now. What can you do to fix this? And sometimes you just gotta be super demanding. That's it. Jillian, armed with all this, if this does not work, I want you to call me back and let me see what I can do. I'm not sure if I can do anything because let me tell you, I've tried to find somebody at Meta myself and they're like, there's nobody home. Nobody. And Mark Zuckerberg, he's building a bunker in Kauai. Okay. And surfing. It's so frustrating. Thanks for your call today, Julian. Isn't it crazy how big tech can just totally control your livelihood? That's why, I've never been a big fan about saying, join me on Facebook, join me on Facebook, join me on Facebook. Because when you do that as a business, you are giving up your customers. Crazy stuff. All right. So we were flying back from Japan and Barry looks over at me and goes, do you think it's safe for me to use the airplane's Wi-Fi so that this way I can check our Morgan Stanley accounts? I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I think that's a really bad idea. Okay, so as you are flying the highways and byways, I mean, if you just want to send or receive email, browse the web, social media, I think that's perfectly safe. But no financial transactions. And I know you might be thinking like, oh, I'm just going to use a VPN. Well, VPNs are more likely to drop off in flight, and that leaves you unprotected and out in the open. It's not the VPN's fault, by the way. It's the fault of the airline and the Wi-Fi that still needs some major improvements. So if you're going to be using the Wi-Fi on the plane, make sure you're updated with the latest antivirus software, because hackers on the plane can scan your computer, steal your passwords, and your safest in-flight activity is old school. Order a drink and read a magazine. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as a great tip about Airbnb hosts and how you can catch those creepy cameras here on the Kim Komando Show. Anthony, glad to have you on board with us.
My question is regarding the AirTag. Do you need a special app on your iPhone to access this?
Well, what do you want to put a tag on?
You were mentioning like you could put it in your car, a suitcase,
Sure,
whatever.
100%.
Yeah,
yeah. I even have one on my golden retriever.
yeah. To me, a lot of times I say, well, I'm going to leave my car and I'm going to go to Walmart or whatever, and I'm going to remember where it is, and I don't. And I said, with an AirTag, it would probably be a good idea to find out, where's my car?
Exactly. Well, here's the deal. You have what you need on your iPhone to track AirTags. Your device on your iPhone needs to be running iOS 14.5 or later.
Okay.
You can also do it on your iPad and on your Mac. And then what you do is you turn on Bluetooth and location services. And you're going to have the app already built in under Find My. So instead of just having Find My Friends, you'll have Find My Devices, Find My Items. And then, of course, you're going to put this under your items. And so when you go into Walmart and you don't know where your car is, and then you can just come out and say, find my car. And then we'll say, Anthony, beep, 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 walk this way. And then it's actually really cool because it will say, you're 15 feet away, you're 10 feet away. And then it gives you an arrow which way to go. And then suddenly you're going to be like,
is there a maximum distance that they can, figure out where you're at?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Because what it does is it uses other devices in order to figure out where that tag is. And so, for example, I have some cars in storage, and I put AirTags in the glove box. And so even though those cars are in storage in Scottsdale, Arizona, I can see exactly where that car is. I also have one in my son's car. Like I mentioned, I have them, on my bike. I have them pretty much on everything that my husband owns because that makes my life easy too. And those AirTags, by the way, if you're going to be buying them, I always find the cheapest place to get them is at Costco or Sam's Club instead of buying them over on Amazon.com. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this. Just one thing. Is that when you go to the Google Play Store, you see Tracker Detect. And that's the app put out by Apple. I linked to it this past week in our free newsletter, which if you're not getting our free newsletter, sign up right now over at getkim.com. You're enjoying 500,000 folks who get tech smart every single day. And I mentioned this app in the newsletter. Then people were writing like, oh, Kim Komando, why did you refer everybody to that app? It only has a 2.2 rating. Well, the reason why, dear one, is that this is the official AirTag app from Apple. Okay, that's the one. It has a crappy rating inside the Google Play Store because it doesn't do it automatically as fast as it really wants. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why if you have an AirTag, you think that somebody's stalking you, is that you really need to have an iOS device. So I just want to pass that along. That yes, I am fully aware that the Apple app has a 2.2 rating, and yeah. Because it sucks. It doesn't work as good as it should. All right, stay right where you are. Some tips about finding creepy cameras in those Airbnbs and Verbos here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, so you're on Airbnb and Verbo. And you're like, oh, this is great. I love it. I wonder if there are any hidden cameras here. So what do? Turn off all the room's lights and scan for small green or red LEDs. Night vision cameras will blink and shine in low light. And also check for one-way mirrors with hidden cams. You want to shine your phone's flashlight through them if you can. If one side of the mirror is brightly lit, you have a problem. Next, check the devices connected to the rental's wireless network for anything strange. And if all this is freaking you out, pick up a hidden camera detector on Amazon. They're about $50. You also want to scan the highest channels on the cable, too. Sometimes you can find cameras there. Oof, I know. Hey, listen, don't forget to sign up for our free newsletter. You're just going to love it at getkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
Okay, here's a number that you're going to want to pass along to your family members and friends. Because when you do this, they're going to sit back and they'll go, whoa, I had no idea you were so smart. 58.7 microseconds per day. 58.7 microseconds per day. And you're like, oh, what is that, Kim? What is that? That's how much faster time moves on the moon. Who knew? Okay, so the White House is proposing a brand new time zone for the moon. It's called the Lunar Time Coordinated System, LTC for short. They say it's going to make space missions more accurate. 2026 Artemis 3 mission is going to be the first to use it. It'll be NASA's first manned lunar trip since the 1970s. It's about time. And speaking of the moon landing, it was obviously fake. I mean, the moon landing was obviously fake. Like, the moon is still up there. It didn't land anywhere. Oh, you're like, oh, that was bad, Kim. I agree. I could have done better, but it's what we got right now. Because after all, I'm Kim Komando, your beloved digital goddess here with you. It's the biggest show, the best show, the most trusted source for all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're tuning in for just the first time, where you been? Welcome aboard. And for our regular listeners, darling, you look amazing. And you can find the Kim Komando Show on over 420 top stations from coast to coast. You can also find us as a podcast commercial-free on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify, or just go ahead and join the Komando community. Just hit komando.com and hit that button that says community. And a special shout out goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries. I just love that. Alrighty, I'd actually love to do this every single day. I just visit just a slew of websites. I counted them up. It was like 38, sometimes 35, sometimes even over 40 if I don't see like exactly what I'm looking for, to bring us both the top 5 things that you need to know what's happening in the tech world right now. And let's start with, when I say the word doctor, what are you thinking? Maybe someone to take care of your kids, someone to prescribe an antibiotic, somebody to give you a new hip. Okay. Now, what if I were to say, doctor programs your brain? What? Yes, it's called BCIs. We shorten everything inside the computer industry, brain-computer interfaces. These are the devices that directly connect to your brain, and then they turn your brain's signals into commands that computers can understand. And so imagine that you were in an accident, paralyzed from the neck down. This is kind of what Elon Musk's Neuralink does. It will give you the ability to control a computer, or maybe a prosthetic limb, just by thinking about it. And now they are wireless. But what we are looking at now is a new type of doctor. The role of the doctor is that surgeons to install these BCIs. So share this with your doctor. Say, are you going to be getting into this? Or maybe you have an emerging doctor, a new doctor, somebody in your family that wants to be a doctor. Wow, wouldn't that be something to be a BCI surgeon? Oof. You know what? I would love to do that. All right, moving on to number 2, the truth about incognito mode. Yeah, it lets you browse without saving your history, your cookies, or your session data on your device. But your ISP, the website you visit, Google, and even your employer can track exactly what you're doing. Now, the reason why I bring all this up is the other day, a U.S. judge allowed a $5 billion class action lawsuit. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? $5 billion class action lawsuit against Google to go to trial. The lawsuit said that Google still tracked, collected, and identified browsing data in real time, even when you open in incognito mode. So it wasn't exactly private. And then Google said, well, we can't really find all that data. We can't delete all that data. We don't know where it is. Guess what? They found the data and they're deleting it. And so just keep in mind that incognito does not really mean incognito. Moving on to number 3, how about a quick AI roundup? First up, you can now use ChatGPT without logging in. That means that it's not going to necessarily be tracking everything that you do with ChatGPT and all your prompts directly with your username, but they can still track you by your IP address. So keep that in mind. Number 2, Google Gemini has been updated with some AI. With your voice, you can automatically open up Google Maps and then say exactly where you want to go. And let's see, number 3 next is if you pay for ChatGPT, is that now you can use DALL-E in order to edit your images. That's a lot of fun. I used one the other day to create a little image that I used in the newsletter. It was a walk in a park. So like I said, this was really difficult, but it was a walk in the park, I know. You have to see the image, just get the newsletter. Oh, finally, this is actually a fun one. Google has a new AI thing called Food Mood. So what you do is you say, I want to combine 2 nations to come up with one dish. And so I fired up Ireland and Fiji. What kind of food can come from Ireland and Fiji? It was a tender lamb and with a vibrant coconut curry sauce. I'm not sure that sounds good. Number 4, are you texting like an old person? Okay. Gen Zers say that if you capitalize letters when you're texting, you're old. Also, they only text in lowercase. And they don't really put a lot of punctuation. So if you do any of that, you're old. So if you're doing any of this, you probably also know how to use a fax machine, a VHS tape, and maybe a pager too. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Speaking of old, oh my gosh, have you ever heard of mewing? Mewing. And now if you are a teenage guy, you know what that is. And if you're not a teenage guy, it's some videos that have been seen like over 15 billion times. It changes the way that your jaw looks. It kind of, for a guy, it gives a square chisel look, which is supposedly what a lot of women always want in their guys. So you press your whole tongue against the roof of your mouth, keep your lips together, breathe through your nose, and maintain a straight posture. They also have like metal things that they sell that you can put in your mouth and all do this. But in case you're wondering who's behind this trend, I thought this was fascinating. 95-year-old orthodontist by the name of John Mew. That's right, John Mew. So the next time you have a teenage guy and they're like trying to get their little jaw chiseled, you can say, you know what? That was because of John Mew. All right, we have so many callers today. That's just, the lines are just overflowing. We're going to get through most of them. Also, some great tips about how to ace your job search with some hidden tricks, signs that your TV is spying on you, and of course, me, Kim Komando. You don't want to miss that. Hey, I'm giving away a $500 gift card, and I want you to win it. So how do you win it? You go to winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com. I'm giving away a $500 Amazon.com gift card. And what's the catch? You have to get one issue of my newsletter. That's it. Just one issue. And you can unsubscribe on that issue if you want, but you're not going to want to do that because you're going to love it. Once again, head to winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. All right, Tamara in Brookings, Oregon, you're up first.
I am an illustrator and small business owner in Brookings, Oregon, which is right near the California border. I've had a brick and mortar store for 4 years, and I've been selling online since 2010.
Wow, good for you.
And thank you. I've had my products scraped to other sites many times before, but my problem that I wanted to share with you today is a bit bigger. They actually registered a domain name. My business site is pithitude.com, and they registered the site pithitude.shop, and then they scraped my site of all my products and packed it into that site.
Okay.
And it's completely fraudulent. They don't have any access to my product line. The only links that work are for taking people's credit card information. So besides being very concerned about my reputation, I'm worried about people who think that they're shopping from me and are going to have their money taken.
Yeah, they're getting scammed, and there's no way they're ever going to come back to you, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're starting to get Google alerts on your business name that people say, don't go there. Don't go. I got ripped off. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a big problem. It's a huge problem. I have to preface this, Tamara, by saying I'm not a lawyer, can't give you legal advice, all that other good stuff. Okay. just to keep the FCC happy. Do you have any registered trademarks, copyrights?
Yes, both.
Excellent. You're so smart. On your .com website, I want you to make sure that you have at the very bottom the name of the trademark and your number of your trademark. If you go to commando.com and you go all the way to the bottom, you're going to see things like Kim Commando's registered trademark, 2 million, blah, 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 blah. Digital Goddess, registered trademark, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all this other stuff.
Okay.
The reason why that's there is precisely why you need it.
Okay.
Because when you have a registered trademark, is that all of a sudden you get to go to the top of the food chain. Okay. What I mean by that is that there's it's called the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN, ICANN. They are, if you will, considered like the chief of all domains. Okay. They settle domain disputes. You have a dispute with a domain, so you have to go to the Internet Corporation of Assigned Name and Numbers, and you fill out a form, and you say, they are violating my copyright and my trademark, and here are my numbers. Because that's how you settle a dispute. The FBI can't help you. Google can't help you. You have to go to the source, and that's ICANN. And that's why it's important for anybody. If you have whatever size business you are, no matter what you're doing, if you have trademarks and copyrights, make sure that you put that at the bottom of your main homepage. Every single page, as a matter of fact. Put it in your terms and conditions of service, whatever you might want to have, your privacy policies, so that this way you are covered in the event of if something were like this to happen in the future. So I guess the other question is, what can you do to prevent scraping of a website? It's been going on forever. What you want to do is slow down page views from any bots, because the bots are the ones that are doing the scraping. And there are some steps on how to do this on whatever your hosting provider that you have. So you might want to go ahead and look that up from your provider. Again, you just want to slow down the page views from bots, because those are the ones that are doing any scrapes. Now, if you have an intellectual property right attorney, somebody who you know, somebody you can contact, they can walk you through all this. And sometimes it helps if an attorney sends a letter as well to the ICANN organization. But that's where you want to go. And if you need any help after this, just go ahead and give me a call back. That's why I'm here. Boy, this looks like an interesting question. Dan in New Orleans, Louisiana. Hey there, Dan.
I've been a long-time listener. I discovered you when I was in Austin, Texas, and could get you on the radio, and I would listen to you every Sunday almost religiously. And since we've moved to Covington, there's not a radio station close by, so I have to track you down when I have the time.
Well, here's what you can do, Dan. Here's what you can do, is that you can get the Kim Commando Show as a podcast, and then you can take me with you. It's available on Apple, Spotify, and then also at commando.com inside the Commando community.
Okay. Now that I'm retired, I've got time to track some of that stuff down that I didn't have when I was working full time.
Awesome.
Thank you for the recommendation.
So what's going on?
Here's my question. People do stuff on a computer. They sit down to their computer to pay their bills, and they do all of these interactions with their banking website and their investment website and any other sites like that they deal with. They move files to and from the cloud for whatever reason. They use whatever desktop apps they're working with. And they do the same thing over and over and over again for each of the accounts they've got to deal with. Maybe a little different, but who knows? That's not really important. But I don't find any way to automate any of this stuff. If I'm going to do the same 25 mouse clicks and download the same files and store them in the same folder on the cloud, why aren't there any apps out there, or are there any apps out there that allow me to sort of glue things together,
sure,
as opposed to having stuff built into an app that, quote, does it all for me? Well, they never do it all.
They try. They do try. Are you on Windows or Mac?
On All of the above.
Okay. All right. Unfortunately, there's not going to be like one solution you can use on both, but on Windows, there's a program called AutoHotkey. That's AutoHotkey, available at autohotkey.com. And it does exactly what you're talking about. It allows you to set up various routines that you might want to automate. And if you really wanted to get kind of techie on it, it actually will do some command-based programming as well. If you're on a Mac, you're looking for a Keyboard Maestro. The AutoHotkey for Windows, that's free. And then the Keyboard Maestro does pretty much the same thing. Allows you to launch applications, range windows, quit at a certain time, things like that. Is $36. So the tools are there. Now you just have to get all the work done, and but once you get it done though, it's it's pretty easy, because then you just hit a couple of keystrokes and then you're good to go. And again, it's AutoHotkey and Keyboard Maestro. And I'll tell you what, Dan, I'm going to put you on hold. All right. And then when Amber picks you up, she's going to send you out some links to both of these programs. And thanks for your call today. And, try that podcast. You're retired. You got time now. And again, it's the Kim Komando Show podcast. We have a couple of podcasts. There's Kim Komando Today, which is our daily fun podcast about all things digital that you can watch us do live, 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. That's Pacific time, by the way. And then the Kim Komando Show is the big 3-hour weekend show that you can get that commercial free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or again, inside the Komando community. And Dan, thanks for your call. Now, if you're just too shy to give me a call, I still want to get your questions. Here's what you need to do. Head over to komando.com. That's Komando, komando.com. And then there's a link that says Email Kim. Just click that button, fill out that form, give me your question. I read every single note that you guys and gals send me. Stay right where you are. We got more coming up. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, how to ace that job search with some hidden secrets and tricks and signs that your TV may be just spying on you. And let's talk about spyware. Spyware is a program that means even though you don't have an icon for it on your desktop, it's still running in the background on your PC or Mac. Now, how do you see if it's actually there? On your PC, open the Task Manager. On a Mac, you're going to open Activity Monitor. Then there, you're going to see all the apps and background processes that are running on your computer. Look through the list. Now, if you see a name that you don't recognize, just search for it online to see what turns up. But let's say that you do see spyware on that list. You need to remove it, and that may mean, I know it's a lot of work, backing up your system, reformatting the drive, reinstalling everything. Definitely no fun at all. All right. Melissa in Lansing, Michigan. Glad to have you with us.
My question is, I recently retired and I've been searching for an apartment community in the south part of the United States.
Okay.
And I found a complex that where all the homes are smart and the tenant is required to use the complex's internet provider. Okay. Is this safe?
Well, a lot of it depends upon how they define smart. Okay. And what type of access that they have. I mean, so you could have smart locks, smart lights, smart video doorbells, smart appliances, everything that's smart, quote unquote, Melissa, is just connected to the internet. And it's there to provide a service to you so that you don't have to get up and answer the door if you don't want to because so-and-so is at the door. If you want to have somebody in your house when you're not there to fix something, you can give them a special code. Smart appliances will show you everything that's inside the refrigerator so you don't have to open it up. And then it also give you recipes based upon what's on the inside and even order groceries because you took something out. Okay. So and then they also provide internet access as a perk, right? So you don't have to spend $50 to $80 a month or more to get online.
Well, yeah, you do. You have to pay for that too.
Okay. Well, then, but they're providing it as part of your services. Okay. And so in this way you have it for the individual units. You need to protect yourself. They are not going to protect you. What I mean by that is that anytime you're on a public Wi-Fi system, which is what you'll be on, is that your data is out there free for the taking unless you know how to lock it down. And so what I would recommend is that you use a VPN anytime you go online. Because the VPN will scramble things up so that if somebody has a sniffing program where they're going to get everybody's username and password on that network, is that because you're using a VPN, they won't be able to do that.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
So, and use a good password management program. So this way you're not entering all your passwords, just using one master password, and you're going to use that on a VPN. So it's going to be double protection. Make sure that all your gadgets are always updated with the latest software and hardware updates. And, and you're just going to be smart about it, right? Because if it is smart, we want to be a little bit smarter than the technology that's there, is purporting to make our lives easier and better. So again, the most important thing is that you make sure that you do have a VPN, keep everything updated, good things like that. If there's any way that they can put you on your own network, I'm not sure if that's possible. That would be also preferred, where you could have your own router, your own modem, and maybe you might want to ask them if that's a possibility. Probably isn't, but it's just some questions that you might want to ask. But again, really glad that you called in now, because you're smart like that, because you are going to a smart house, because everybody's smart. Smart. I know. Too many things are smart to make us feel like we're not so smart. I know. What a crazy world we live in. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit with our callers. Tom in Columbia, Missouri. This looks like an interesting scenario.
Well, first of all, I got to check off my bucket list. I spoke to Kim Commando.
Yes.
Okay, that one's done. Let's go to the next part. I've been a videographer, cinematographer, editor for years, 30 years, over 30 years, back when, we started with the video toaster, if you remember that, in the early 90s.
Right.
And but I'm in my 70s now, and I don't do as much stuff, but I have some clients, and I like to help some nonprofits around the area. But one of the things we have around here is a beautiful performance dance place that's all these little kids are trained from dancing anywhere from 5 years old till 20 years old or so. And they do a couple of shows a year. I have done this show for them before, and I do it on a set fee.
Okay.
But they wanted to try not to do it on a set fee. And this is the kind of stuff I used to do 25 years ago when I was really poor and tried to sell the copies myself. And this year I've agreed to do this. Now, in the past, we've sold DVDs, but the DVD quality, of course, of a regular DVD is terrible, and really not enough people got Blu-ray players.
Yeah, we don't have DVD players anymore. Everybody's online.
Well, that's the truth. So anyway, two ways I can provide the performance to a person who has paid me. And one is by downloading it, and the other is on a USB flash. But I don't think that there's a big problem with Mama and Grandma both sharing a copy of the performance, which will be about an hour and 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
But what if I'm getting into this and I'm sending out a digital file or a flash drive, and Bill passes it to Mary, and Mary passes it to Jane, and it's passed around, and so it's limited the amount of cells I would get. But I'm going, how can you limit the amount of copying of a downloaded file to somebody or a flash drive to somebody?
How much are we talking per video?
$100. $100 for there's actually 3 shows. There's one on Friday and 2 on Saturday, and most people want all 3 shows.
All right, so it's $100. It's $100 for all 3.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You can put this video up online, and there's a service called Vimeo, Vimeo, and Vimeo has a monthly subscription fee, and they have different rates and packages, and one of them allows you to prevent the download of the video. And so you could share that link, and you can also charge a fee for a video that way. And then Vimeo takes a piece of the action, but you don't have to do anything. Just kind of throw it up there. Now, You can also think about putting watermarking on there, so that if in fact it does get shared, you know exactly who shared it, and then you can go back to them and say, "Hey, you're violating my copyright." Okay, and these are invisible or visible marks in the video. You can certainly put it on a flash drive, and normally that charges like maybe $5 a unit, $10 a unit. But I'm wondering if there's something else that you could be doing. Meaning, like, you can do all of this, right? But if somebody shares it 2 or 3 times, most people only have 6 close people. That's the number.
Yeah.
And so, at worst, you're out $500.
Yeah.
At best, you don't have to deal with any of what I just talked about. The administration, correct, the coordination, getting it all done. And at the end, you put a little commercial for yourself. Need a video of your special occasion, reunions.
Not interested in doing that.
All right, so you don't want any more business.
No.
Okay. Then it's up to you.
I married a doctor. I don't want any more business.
All right, so you married up, and that's good. I appreciate that. Okay, so what I would do is you could look at Vimeo and also Uscreen. That's Vimeo, and also Uscreen, and then Screen. It allows you to have one-time purchases of your videos. It has secure hosting, payment processing. It's about $50 a month. The flash drive situation, I mean, you can certainly do that. And there are certainly tools that would make that happen. I'm just afraid it's just going to become a total hassle for you. Unless you were making $1,000 a video, and then we're looking like, something like that. But you want to take a look at Nextcopy. That's Nexcopy, Nextcopy, Vimeo, and then Uscreen. The Nextcopy is what's going to secure that flash drive for you. But I think it's going to be easiest if you use something like Vimeo or Uscreen. Need any help afterwards, Tom? I'm your gal. All right. Getting a job today is a little bit different than it was even just 3 years ago. Why? Because we have something called ATS, okay, the Applicant Tracking System. So your resume is seen first by a computer, not by a person. It makes the first round of decisions. They rank, search for keywords, and auto-reject resumes not fitting the bill. So how do you beat the bots? Couple of tips. Match the keywords. Scan the job description and see those specific skills and requirements listed. Make sure that they are directly reflected in your resume. Keep it simple, too. No fancy fonts or creative layouts. That totally confuses the ATS, okay? No tables, no images. Just keep it straightforward and text only. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as signs that your TV is actually spying on you here on the Kim Komando Show. Doris in Reno, Nevada.
Well, a few years ago, we heard you speaking about having a Chromebook to manage our finances. Mm-hmm. So we bought that, and then we do all of our finances solely on the Chromebook. And I also have a designated email just for that. My question is, and you'll think it's probably the simplest question of the day, but when I'm traveling and want to check the emails, I don't have that email on my phone or my tablet. I just look at it on the Chromebook. Is it safe to add that email address to my Google account on my phone or tablet?
See, the whole idea behind having a separate Chromebook, Doris, is that if you get hit by some type of scam, whatever it may be, mm-hmm. is that it's not going to hit your financial accounts. So that's why the whole idea is this Chromebook, we're only going to use that for only for financial stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
So now you're saying that so you have an email address associated with that Chromebook, so you want to check that email on your Android. That mm-hmm. would be okay. I just want you to be super safe. Okay.
So do I.
And that, if you get something that looks legit and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the bank, I need to hit this link, don't do it. Right. Mm-hmm. Because there are just so many scams. Oh my gosh. It seems like every time I turn around, there's a new scam. I mean, it's like there's yes. I mean, and they're getting more creative. Like there's one gal that lost $500,000 because she thought that the IRS was calling her with her Social Security problem with her, with a problem with her Social Security number, and that somehow she was going to go to prison, so she had to give them $500,000 in gold. I'm like,
oh my God!
I'm like, what just happened? And how did you even think that the IRS would call you with your Social Security number problem, that they are going to put you in prison and you got to get some gold, and they're going to come over and pick up the gold? Okay.
I'm not that naive.
I hope not. Oh my gosh. But there's also that New York Times financial journalist. She got suckered in for about $250,000, and she writes, she's a financial planner. It's like, okay. So, it's just always have your wits about you. I mean,
I you know what? I think I'm just going to play it safe and not do it. Most of our accounts, people will text us if something's going on, and I don't know. Maybe that's
and also be careful of the texting too, because you know what? They figured out that as well. Makes you just want to say, like, I'm just going to shut it all off. I'm going to shut it all off. Nobody's getting my money. Nobody but me. And I'm going on a round the world trip, first class, for the rest of my life, or live on a cruise ship. Okay, whatever it may be. Doris, thanks for getting through today. All right, let me just switch gears just a little bit. Every single day we send out a newsletter to 500,000 people. Wow. That's a lot of folks, isn't it? Now, if you're not on the list, I don't know what the heck you're waiting for. It's absolutely free. We have top stories, the latest tech news, device advice, tech upgrades. And let me tell you, it is fun to read, totally fun to read. Oh, and there's a meme at the end and some jokes thrown out. And, here's the deal. I was looking at some of the comments this morning, and, Bob in Chicago actually wrote me. He said, Kim, you know what? It is fun to read. I've never actually got a tech newsletter that was fun to read. Okay. So if you're not getting our newsletter, here's the deal. You can sign up at winfromkim.com. You're going to get the newsletter, and as a bonus, you're going to be automatically entered to win a $500 Amazon gift card. Whoa, what a deal. What are you waiting for? Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com. All right, stay right where you are. Do not move. Well, if you're listening to the podcast and you're walking, you can keep moving. But coming right back, I have the signs that your TV may be spying on you here on the Kim Komando Show. I always think this is super interesting. The TV manufacturer Vizio, they actually make more money selling data from people who buy the TVs than actually when they make money selling the TVs. Okay, wow. So how do you know if your TV is collecting data on you? If you see some unusual network activity, your TV is using a lot of data or sending data to some strange IP addresses. Now, some TVs will monitor your viewing habits and send that to the advertisers, data brokers, and manufacturers. Now, to opt out, you have to get inside your TV's privacy settings and also voice controls, because they could be collecting the audio data as well. Now, for the exact steps on how to turn off your TV's tracking, what I want you to do is hit commando.com and just say, my TV's spying on you, right in the search box, which 24/7, don't forget, I'm always there for you at commando.com.
Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 3.
Hey, for anyone who's ever wanted to vanish into thin air, this just might be your chance, okay? You can now buy an invisibility cloak. Yes, I said an invisibility cloak. About $800. Company who makes it is by the name of Mega Shield, of course. They say they can hide up to 6 people, and it uses precision engineered lens array to literally bend light. Works with grass, foliage, sand, and sky. And if you look at some of the videos online about it, it's like they put up this, I guess, panel in front of people, and then they truly do disappear. I know that every Harry Potter fan would want one of these right now. But speaking of being invisible, here's a joke that you can tell the kids. How did the doctor cure the invisible man? How did the doctor cure the invisible man? Ready? He took him to the ICU. Oh, yes. You are about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is a tech thing. I'm Kim Commando. Yes, I know. Bad jokes and all. Your beloved digital goddess. And because every single thing is now a tech thing. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the award-winning show on over 420 top stations from coast to coast. You can also get the show as a commercial-free podcast on Apple, Spotify, and as a perk of your membership inside the Commando community. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. All right, you can count on me to visit at least 35 to 40 different websites for you every single day to make sure that we know exactly what's happening in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things you need to know today that's happening in the tech verse. We're going to start with something that's happening in the world that you may not be paying attention to. Okay, we all know about artificial intelligence. It's changing everything. And one of the things that it is changing is a website and your ability to make money with that website by advertising dollars. Website traffic is down 20%. I saw a stat that says it's going to be down over 65% over the next year. So what does that mean to you as a website owner and operator? It means that if you don't innovate, you're going to evaporate. But what does that mean to Google? Because Google makes its money on what? People going to search at google.com or using that search site, okay? Because they flood you with ads. Well, what's going to happen? Well, Google has a bright idea because, if the traffic's going down, guess what's happening in Google revenues? Revenues are going down too. So their big plan, some marketing genius came up with this. Why don't we start charging for Google search results? Let's start charging people for that. Why are we giving this away for free? The Financial Times was fed some scoop from insiders that says this is ultimately the plan. Wow, it's going to be a first for Google. And this is a choice that is really maybe going to kill Google. For so many years, we thought, who could ever get rid of Google? Yeah. So let me ask you a question. If they start charging, will you stop using it? Will you? All right, moving on to number 2. Speaking of money, wow. If you have a Chase Bank credit card, you need to pay attention. The Wall Street Journal reports that they're opening up a new unit called Chase Media Solutions. Doesn't that sound happy? Chase Media Solutions. It's going to let marketers and advertisers buy ads to directly target you based on what you have done with your bank account, things that you have purchased, where you have purchased them. And can you opt out? Yeah, but it's going to be a little bit tricky. But what sets Chase's system apart from traditional other networks like Google search ads is that advertisers are only charged if you make a purchase, which means that the advertisers are going to be lining up to get a hold of your Chase Bank credit card data. Moving on to number 3, fast food. Have you been to a Taco Bell or McDonald's lately? I haven't, but I have read this story that says that now there's a kiosk. And so you just don't have to talk to a cashier. You just go into the kiosk and you say, okay, this is what I want. And you just point and click. Now, Shake Shack CEO says that these digital kiosks will make us order up to 10% more on average. Wow, isn't that interesting? They start adding more food, customizations, add-ons, supersizing that meal. They can also now tailor the menu on the screen on what the season is or what the day is like. So if it's raining, why not get a hot chocolate? If it's summer, let's get some ice cream. Talk about a shakedown. This is really exciting, our 4th story. 1 in 6, that's how many people have depression here in the United States. If you have it, you're not alone. But I found this new app to be really fascinating. And if you are depressed or you know somebody who is, listen to this. There's an app called Rejoin, REJOYN. It's the first FDA-approved app of its kind. It gives patients a 6-week treatment program that trains them to have more control over their emotions. It targets the neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to form new connections and pathways. So if you are dealing with depression, they say the issue isn't just chemical imbalances, but how certain parts of your brain communicate or don't. So, and since it's FDA approved, guess what? Insurance should actually pay for the app. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Oh my gosh, people, you need to be smarter than this, okay? Don't buy anything related to your health on Facebook. A woman in California went on Facebook and for some reason bought a hemorrhoid ointment. Okay. she died. It poisoned her. Tests found that the stuff mailed from Vietnam contained a lethal 4% lead. So other things you should not buy on Facebook. Makeup and skincare. Okay. How about infant seats, cribs, toys, helmets? USA Today a few years ago found at least 170 listings of products that killed kids that had been recalled but still listed for sale on Facebook, especially in Marketplace. Mattresses. I would never buy a used mattress. Okay. 2 words. You ready? Bed bugs. Bed bugs. Gross. Gross. Did you hear about the bed bugs getting married? Did you hear about the bed bugs that are getting married? You ready? This is a great one. Sometimes I just crack myself up. The wedding was held in the spring. All right. Coming up, we have what to do if your credit card number is for sale on the dark web, and also what to do with a stolen laptop. And Ali Sullivan's going to be joining us. She's our amazing content queen. We're talking about how you can really use AI, the best prompts for your business to get your work done. And of course, you have me and maybe even some more bad jokes that you don't want to miss. Okay, I want to give you a $500 Amazon.com gift card. I do. I want to call you up and say, hey, guess what? You won $500. And you'll be like, how did I do that, Kim Commando? And why are you calling me? Well, because you were smart and you entered to win a $500 Amazon gift card at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. And, here's the deal. There is a catch, and I will tell you what the catch is. You have to get one issue of my free newsletter. That's it. Just one newsletter. It's totally free, and you're going to love it. If you don't, you can unsubscribe. But once again, winfromkim.com. Do it right now while you're thinking about it. If you're listening to the podcast, walk and just stop the pod, go to winfromkim.com and enter to win $500, a $500 gift card right now at winfromkim.com. All right. How about we start with Kenan in Salt Lake City, Utah. Glad to have you with us.
Hey, I'm a big fan of your show. Seems like I've been listening for like 100 years. And
don't say that, because then you make me feel like I'm 100 years old. Okay, so here, let's try this again. Just say, Kim, I've been listening to you for just a few years, and you just, I feel like I've gained hundreds of years of knowledge. How about that?
Yeah, I really do. You've been on point many times when I've been climbing the walls trying to figure out a problem, and I've got a problem for you today. So I run a outreach program, a HUD outreach program for the nonprofit affordable housing employer that I work for. We're a nonprofit. We just launched a healthcare, like a preventative health demonstration for 800 of our residents in the affordable housing. And we are expanding our medical program to 4 additional projects that do not have on-site folks to meet face-to-face with. And I've developed a virtual services model, doing all kinds of stuff outside my skill set, outside my comfort zone. But we're trying to get devices in the hands of our folks, and the Lifeline devices are just garbage.
Are they? When you were talking, I was thinking about that. I wonder if you could qualify or even looked into the Lifeline. Now, why do you say they're garbage?
Well, they don't come with like full versions of Android. Typically, they got Android Basic or Android Express or whatever the iteration is at the time, and they typically don't have very many resources. Refresh rate is really low. So you just end up playing games with it, because that's all you can do. You can't use it for communication, and we have all these different services that we want to be able to deliver, and we need our residents to have quality devices. And I'm into like TechSoup and Back Market, some of these refurb providers, but they none of them can deliver me like consistent devices. I got to buy like 30 at a time, and then the next time I go buy more, it's a different model. And, I want things to be as simple as possible because I'm training my team to support the device, and that if people have, a million different kinds of devices, there's no way that we're going to be able to.
And that's the problem with Androids, though. You know that.
Yeah.
That, one manufacturer does it this way, another one does it this way, and then you look at different model numbers from one manufacturer, and And anytime that in the newsletters or on the website or whatever, in my Daily Mail articles or USA Today, I can just tell you this, that anytime I put instructions, I'm always going to hear from somebody who says, that doesn't work on my phone, Kim Commando. Right. I'm like, well, that, okay. If I'm going to say every version of Android, we're going to have to take 10 pages, so.
Right.
So that's the problem. So how many do you need to buy?
Well, I need to get, so we just added 350 clients to that virtual situation, and we would like to be able to give everybody a phone. And so I need to get at least 350 to 400 devices to be able to distribute. And we're not just giving them away. I mean, the residents they have to sign on the dotted line. They're willing to participate in our community improvement efforts. And we've got a survey routine set up so that we can gather data. At the end of the day, I work for a housing organization, and we want to study housing stability. And that's my goal. We want people to stay with us as long as they possibly can. And we're making inroads. I mean, we're finding out a lot. Just over the last 2 years we've been going, and we'll be funding eligible next year, and then we don't have to have these difficult conversations about finding used devices because we'll just buy new.
I'm thinking that, I wonder if you were to contact somebody like Samsung, because they have a really large pre-owned department and a pre-owned program. But what I like about the Samsung phones, they come with a 1-year warranty, even though they're used, which is sweet. But I think in order to get the quantity that you need in a similar or like model, if you go to, like you said, TechSoup or Swappa or Gazelle or anything like that, that you're going to be looking at, I can give you just what you said, 30 phones, 50 phones, 10 phones, 5 phones, whatever it may be. Versus if you go to a manufacturer where they're just taking these things in droves, right? Okay. That would be probably the best place. Take a look at a Motorola, an LG, maybe. Okay. I don't think Sony's always been. I don't think Sony's gonna. I don't know. I wouldn't bother with them. I think Samsung would be my first stop. And what I might suggest is that if you want, we give you a copy of this phone call, and you. Write a letter to the PR department, the media relations department, and tell them that, you're on a show, Kim's on 450 stations, and she's a USA Today columnist and Daily Mail. You called me for help, and I recommended personally that you go to Samsung and their certified pre-owned department to see if this could help. And typically, if when you go to a Samsung or web page, is that you're going to have to drill around to find the media because they don't want just anybody. But that's where I would go, because what I'd like to do is to do a follow-up call with you to say that, yes, we contacted Samsung and they were able to do this for this great organization and to get these quality phones in their premises and in their hands so that they could participate in this fabulous virtual program that you put together. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know how hard it is to find the charitable giving section of most websites.
Well, I'm not. You know what?
Bury it.
Well, the charitable is one thing. I don't know if they're going to be able to give this to you for free.
Yeah. Okay. And we have resources to pay. Obviously not for new devices,
right?
But
and so that's where we're gonna head. And so Kenan, I'm gonna put you on hold, and then somehow we'll figure out how to get you a copy of this phone call, so that this way you could tell the corporate PR folks at Samsung that you have it. Now, if you strike out, let me know, because maybe I can go through my email and maybe I can find somebody at Samsung to talk to, and maybe that may be another avenue. But I wanted you to know that I'm here with you. I got your back, and together we can get this done. And thank you for your call. All right, let's talk about cleaning. I know, it's springtime. There are apps to help you out. One is called Toady. It will divide your house into different zones and list out the tasks for each. The next one's called Our Home. It turns all your chores into a family affair. You get shared task lists, a point system, and rewards. And finally, this one's really great for kids if you have gamers too. It's called Habitica. You get a character that completes real-life tasks, ace your chores, level up, slack off, your character takes a hit. Again, the 3 apps: Toady, Our Home, Habetica. All right, if you're wondering about the best prompts to use to get AI stuff done, you don't want to miss this. Stay right where you are with the Kim Komando Show. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, your credit card is on the dark web. What should you do next? What should you do next? And before we get to all of that, we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, because you have to be smart when you use artificial intelligence. Like, for example, you don't want to give AI personal information, like, your name, your date of birth, your credit card number, social security number. You also don't want to start talking about like relationship issues, mental health struggles, because that's all going to be tied to your profile, right? And you also don't want to give out trade secrets, confidential information, proprietary stuff, and also anything that you've written personally. I mean, you don't want to upload your book to AI and go, hey, what do you think? Can you make it better? You're better off at a real editor, because AI could actually use that as an answer for something else. Now, when we start talking about how do you get the most out of AI, well, joining us right now is our very amazing content queen, Ali Seligman. Hello there, Ali.
Hi, Kim.
I didn't tell you this before we talk about AI, is that I was looking at Ian coming in to see where he was located from LA the other day.
Yeah.
And I tried to screenshot it because it showed Ian with his little face on Find My Friends. And he was over Seligman, Arizona.
Oh,
I thought that was so cute.
No relation.
No.
I've been there. We went. That was one of our like pandemic era trips where it was like you couldn't go in anywhere. So we went and drove up to Seligman and took pictures with all the signs. It was very dorky and very fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, see, there is an island by the name of Komando.
Is there? With a K?
Yes. And it's in the Maldives.
I think you have to go for research.
I just want to sit in there and go like, mine. It's
you
mine.
get an island in the Maldives, and no offense to the fine people of Seligman, Arizona.
That's true.
But
there is that.
They're different.
All right. So when we started talking about prompts for AI, I mean, it's like garbage in, garbage out, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I really am of the mindset that if you were one of those people that thinks, oh boy, AI is coming for my job, you are thinking about it all wrong. I mean, maybe you need a different type of job, right? But I think if you can use this stuff to make you do a better job at work, you're not going to get replaced. Your boss is going to think, oh, wow, he or she actually knows how to talk to this thing and I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's all become a little bit of an AI genius today, right? Because we want you to be successful at this stuff. Now, I'm going to get a little bit in the weeds. Normally, we keep it really top level, but like I'm going to throw out some terms that if you say these to your boss or anyone else, they're going to be like, whoa.
Yeah, you know what? And they're going to look at you and go, you're amazing.
Wow, how did you learn that? Yes. Did you do a 30-hour course? No, I listened to the Kim Komando Show. We're going to start at the top with 0-shot prompting. Okay, what the heck is that?
Yes.
It's funny because you've probably done this multiple times without realizing that that's what this is called. So this is when you just let the AI do its work, right? You ask it to do something like, analyze this for me. Summarize this. Hey, here's a really long article. Can you tell me what it means in 3 paragraphs? Look at this legal document for me. So you're not exactly telling it how to do its job. You're just letting it do something it already knows how to do. Okay. All right.
Okay. So again, that 0-shot prompting.
Yes.
Could you imagine if somebody puts that on their resume, one of their expertise, 0-shot prompting?
This is what I'm saying. Okay. And you know how to do it because it really is kind of a basic thing, right? One that I like for this, maybe you have a bunch of customer reviews and you need to know like, okay, I don't have time to go through all of these right now. We'll put them in and say, tell me what percentage of these are positive, neutral, or negative. Great. You just did an analysis on your customer base.
Gosh, that's
with one
awesome.
sentence.
I mean, think about how long that would have taken you to do.
Yes.
I mean, you'd have to like sort them all out. And then you have the big math, the percentage.
Big math.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I was always bad at percentages.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Yeah. Next up is few-shot prompting. Okay, few-shot prompting. If 0-shot has no examples, few-shot has a few. So this is when you give 2 to 5, generally, examples of what you want. So maybe this is saying, I need you to write social media posts for me for my small business. Here are 3 examples of ones that I really, really like. Okay, great. So you're just giving more direction to the AI, right? This is probably the one that I do most commonly. Probably the same for you, Kim, right? You give feedback and examples with it.
Yeah, and I've noticed that the feedback that I give, depending upon my mood, I was like, you are totally off.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not paying attention. You're not,
Well, and be careful with that tough love, Kim, because we do know that if you're polite to the AI, it generally will give you better responses.
I do say thank you.
Okay, there you go. Please and thank you. Please do a better job. Thank you.
Now, do you say please and thank you to Alexa?
No. I don't, but I am polite. I don't do please and thank you words, but I'm not like, Alexa, shut up. I'm pretty polite.
There's a whole thing in the whole parenting circle that they're teaching the kids to say please and thank you.
I don't think that's a bad idea, actually, because if you grow up, you're a little kid and you're allowed to just boss stuff around.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
You're going to do that to people too.
No.
Okay. So for this one, again, 2 to 5 examples. This is when you want to get something a little more specific and you have a way that you want it to get done. And this is so you're not beating your head against the wall saying, if you do 0-shot prompting and you say, write me social media posts, it's just going to write some stuff that has nothing to do with you or your business. And then finally, we've got chain of thought prompting. Ooh.
That's a big one.
Again, I bet this is something you've done and you didn't even know what it was called. This is when you say something like, tell me why you did this. Explain the answer step by step. I really like this one when you're doing something more complex. Say I want AI to give me a business plan, right? That's a lot of work and a lot of steps involved. If I say, explain exactly how you did this, I don't just get the plan, I learn exactly why it did what it did. It's good for a few things. One, you're not just flying blind, right? You know why it did certain things. And so in case maybe your boss says, hey, why'd you include this? You don't look like a big idiot, right?
I don't know.
Because I thought it was a good idea. It also can help you spot some flaws in the logic because maybe your business plan kind of assumes that you had 20 people work for you. What if it's only 5, right? So this helps you figure out why it gave you the result it gave you. This is especially helpful if you get a dumb response that you don't like. And sometimes you'll get back, oops, sorry, I messed up. Sometimes you will get, hey, here's exactly where I got all this stuff. And that's really helpful.
Well, the tying all this up with a nice bow is, you spoke about this a while back. And I have to tell you that I've always used it since then, since you talked about it, is that you tell AI to be a marketing pro, to be a financial pro.
I love this one too.
Yeah, to be a grammar pro or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're setting up, you're kind of putting it in the right mind space, right? Like you might do with a person, except a person who knows everything. So you're saying, think in this way. Maybe you're fighting with your landlord and you say, you are a real estate attorney. You are a marketing pro, like you said. It can really think in any way you want, and it'll give you answers based on that, which is so handy for so many things, both personal, professional, whatever it is.
It is. Okay, finally, did you know that Vladimir Putin just released AI for everybody? I mean, for everybody in Russia.
Oh, really?
It's called Chat KGB. Chat KGB. It asks all the questions and you are obligated to answer it.
That was actually pretty good.
Okay,
well done.
Some of them are bad. I mean, I'm trying.
You had a good one for me. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
You can steal that from me. All right, Al, thanks for being here as always. Still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as, oh, no, what to do? Your credit card is out on the dark web. Bum, 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 bum. All right, Chev in Indianapolis, glad to have you with us.
I got a great story I would like to share with you, kind of lift things up a little bit here. And it has to do with something I read in The Current a couple of days ago. You had a tip on how to find your old home where you grew up by going to Google.
Right.
Or the Google Maps, rather. And I wanted to share a story. A couple of years ago, this past summer, my mom died. And the following fall, my dad and I were just kind of sitting there one day, and I was on Google Maps looking up something. And I turned to my dad and I said, do you remember the old address of the first home where I was kind of raised, and that's where I was born? It was a very, very small town outside of Rochester, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I don't really remember the address. And I said, well, do you think we could find it? And I went to the little town, it's called Viola.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to it and I Googled it and I kept blowing it up. And I said, boy, it's not very big. It's literally like 50 or 60 people live in this little town. And I started trying to find a place that he would remember. And he said, well, we live very close to the general store there. And I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I think I found the general store. So let me tell you, this is not a general store like you would think a general store now. This is an old-fashioned general store, 60 years ago.
Wow.
So I said, well, let me do this. So I got on the little man function, as I like to call it. I got the little man, and I went to the street view, and I started looking around. I said, does any of this look familiar? And he goes, oh, yeah, that's the old general store right there. He goes, okay, we're just up this road. So I walked down the road with him and everything, and we're looking around. He goes, there's the house right there. And he was able to spot the house. And it was really moving for me because I've never been back. We moved when I was 2 or 3 years old. And so I really don't have a lot of memories of there other than a lot of snow. And so it was kind of neat. And
what a great thing for you guys to do together after your mom passed away.
Yes, but here's where it got even better because we got to talk and he started sharing memories of those times and everything. And his best friend from when he worked there in Rochester at IBM, he and his wife still live there. His best friend happens to also be my godfather. And they have not connected in decades.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they've shared Christmas cards and whatnot, but haven't seen each other in decades. And I said, you know what, Dad? I said, we should go up there next summer for just a trip. Let's go up there to do that. So he connected with his friend, told him we were coming up there. And last summer, we drove up to Rochester and reconnected with them. And it was like we had just seen him last week.
Oh.
I mean, and it was so neat to spend all that time with him and hear all these stories. We parked in the middle. We went to the little town in Viola, and we drove out there and parked, and we walked all around and actually found the house that I grew up in.
How fabulous is that? And it all started just sitting around, messing around with Google Maps. It's a wonderful thing about technology, and that we're able to go back and experience and to look things. I mean, when I looked up 111 Washington Avenue, South Amboy, New Jersey, 08879. I mean, I still remember that address, right? Is that, I all of a sudden I was like, gosh, how many times, did I wear my Easter outfit, standing on that front porch or riding my bike and fighting with my brother because he farted on my face. He did once. It was so gross. I still can't forgive him for that to this day. My sisters and my grandmother coming from Russia and, staying with us for summers at a time or just riding my bike for hours and hours and hours and coming home and my mom saying, did you have fun today? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm starving. I haven't been home since 8 and it's like 4 p.m. I mean, or the time that I made a snowball and I threw it at a cop car, not knowing that the policeman had the window down and hit him right on the side of his face. And then I ran, and of course he hunted me down and brought me directly home to my mother. It was like, Kimberly, I always knew I was in trouble. Kimberly, wasn't Kimberly, it was Kimberly. That was bad. It was bad. Hey, listen, we talked about the current. If you're not getting my free newsletter, this type of stuff we pass along every single day, you can sign up right now over at getkim.com. Sheb, thanks again for telling us a great story. And I know that more people than ever are going to be like, you know what? I'm going to do that too. Yes, look down that memory lane. All right, let's see who we have up next. Sue in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hi there, Sue.
From one of your newsletters, which I read every day, you had something about a guest network for your different things that you have in your house rather than putting it through the same network. Now, I have an Asus RT AC5300. It's about 6 years old, but it seems to still work really well. But I have CASA, which is the TP-Link units for turning on lights on and off, and Blink. I have 10 units on the Blink, and I have 5 Alexa units on.
Well, you know what? You're just wired and fired over there, Sue. That's awesome.
I know. At one time, I was an early adopter of everything, and that's what happened is I'm, getting older, and the brain's not working as well. And
no, I don't know. You know what? You can use that excuse on somebody else. Okay, it's not. I'm not falling for this crap. I mean, I'm older, Kim, and I can't think, and my memory's gone, and I've got 22 devices on my network. No, doesn't go together. Let me tell you what you need. First of all, a router that's 6 years old, too old. Okay. Probably isn't getting the right firmware updates anymore. You can try to see if it does. So the whole idea with the guest network is that we're going to put all your Internet of Things on a separate network so that if, in fact, one of them gets hacked, it doesn't get to your primary network and all your important files that are on that network. So I'm going to send you a link to the newer router that will work with everything that you have. And it also has a guest network. And, it's we're on Wi-Fi 6 now. I don't know what you're on, but it's probably not there anymore. Now, did you say you had a TP-Link? Did you have a TP-Link?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what I want you to do is, Maddie, I know you're screening today. Give Sue the link to that TP-Link AX5400. That's the model number. TP-Link AX5400. Well, I want you to get a 5400. It's a Wi-Fi 6 router. And it's about, it's about $600 or no, not $600. I'm sorry. It's about $160. And so it's got USB ports for media sharing. It's got some AV parental controls are free, but I like that it will work with all your other existing TP links. 6 years on a router, folks. Time to like turn it in and get a new one, especially if it's not getting any more firmware updates. And Sue, thank you for your call. Hey, just a quick reminder, if you want to drop me your questions, head over to commando.com and hit that link that says email Kim on the homepage. All right, so your credit card number is on the dark web. What should you do? Number one, contact a credit reporting agency like Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, and you want to request a credit freeze. This will stop anyone else from accessing your credit. It makes it harder for thieves to open new accounts. And then you also want to ask for these free fraud alerts from the credit reporting agencies. And then finally, make sure that you shut that credit card down and you get a new one, especially if your bank was part of the leak. Hey, just a quick reminder, make sure that you enter to win that $500 Amazon gift card. Do it now while you're thinking about it. Head to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting. How many official emojis are there in the entire world? Think about this. How many official emojis? Not just the 10 or 12 that you use, but how many different emojis are there? Are you ready for it? Here's a fun fact you can use the rest of the day. 3,782. Wow. Hey, report from the website Word Tips. They trace down the emojis that confuse people the most. Okay, here are the top ones. Number one, they call it the pleading face. It's the one with the big old eyes, kind of looks surprised. A lot of people are like, I don't know what this means when I got this. It's used a lot when somebody does something sweet. Number two, that smirking face. It's often used when people are feeling randy. Okay, if you don't know what randy is, you can think of it like as being frisky. And finally, the upside down face. I use that one a lot. It indicates sarcasm emojis. I'll tell you, I'll never forget that Christmas when my husband, he's just out there going crazy, texting all of his family members and friends, Merry Christmas with a Christmas tree, presents, and then maybe a star. And then there was a wreath. Only it wasn't a wreath. It was a salad. I'm like, oh, honey, why are you sending salads to people on Christmas Day? And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. You're about ready to get more tech smart because Every single thing is a tech thing, right? I know, it's just crazy. You can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. And of course, we're streaming in your favorite radio app, and you can always find us as a podcast, as a webcast, 24/7 over at Komando.com as part of the Komando community. You know, before we get rock and rolling, I need two things from each and every one of you. Number one, I want you to tell one person. That's it. Tell one person about the show, one person about the newsletter, one person that you can win $500 gift card at winfromkim.com. That's it. Just tell one person. And number two, over at Komando.com, there's this great button that says email Kim. Oh, you're so smart. That's right. That's where you can drop me a note. I read every single one. And I want to hear your feedback, what you want to know more about. And how about we get started with the top 5 things that you need to know what's happening in tech right now? Because every single day, I'll tell you, I go to at least 35 or 40 websites. And if you haven't figured this out yet, coming in at number 1, you might be surprised to learn that if you're paying for a commercial-free Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Disney Plus account, they're not so commercial-free at all, now are they? One of the biggest selling points of streaming was non-intrusive commercials. Well, realizing how much money they were leaving on the table, these streamers began offering a free service with commercials. Yeah, like TV, and a paid service without commercials. Was that supposed to be cable? Okay, fair enough. Except when we all weren't paying attention, short ads started popping up even on the paid service. And the free service now carries a ton of ads, like commercial television. So why did they do this? Greed, of course, or maybe that these great programs cost more than ever. Maybe it's a little bit of both, but here's one thing for sure. If you're watching a free streaming service, expect to see even more ads very soon. And if you're paying for a service, guess what? You're going to start seeing more ads too. All right, coming in at number 2, a brand new AI danger. Now, if you or your business use AI to produce content to provide legal, medical, or any other type of professional advice, you are now legally responsible for everything that AI does for you, especially when it makes mistakes. And wow, I'll tell you, AI makes a ton of mistakes. The Wall Street Journal reports that using AI is a risk that goes well beyond you or your company's reputation. But you see, for decades, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act made companies totally immune from lawsuits based on whatever put on the website. But, and here's the big but, this law does not cover AI. So whatever AI writes, puts together with images and videos and music or whatever, and you cannot buy insurance for this either. So this is the thing that you have to remember. And you need to share this with your team members, your managers, whatever, whoever at your company. When you're using AI for commercial reasons, you are completely exposed and fully liable for whatever it generates. Yes. Moving on to number 3. Oh, it's happened to me. I know it's happened to you. You have a convo with your friend about something, taking a trip to Paris, buying a new electric bike. You hop on Facebook and bam, right? You see ads for the Eiffel Tower and bike shops near you. So is Facebook listening? Is Facebook using your phone's microphone? Well, here's the deal. Consumer Reports did extensive research, and they found that the answer is no, they are not. They're doing something else. Turns out that Facebook is not listening in on our conversations to serve as targeted content and advertising. Consumer Reports found that Facebook gets our personal likes, dislikes, searches, doctor visits, working hours, purchases, pets, kids, political affiliation, and more from 48,000 companies. Oh my gosh, 48,000 companies. These data brokers like LiveRamp, along with big retailers, even small shops, are all in on it. So myth busted, Facebook doesn't need to listen. It just gets all the info. Number 4 is a sad story. Really it is. Because every day we're living what we're called this hyper-connected society. Everyone's connected. Smartphones, they make voice calls, video calls. We can text, read, send an email. But loneliness is at epidemic levels. In England, the United States, and Canada, a staggering 40% of us go at least 3 days without a real live face-to-face conversation with another person. Ooh, isn't that awful? And even with employees back in the office, up to a quarter of them say that they're still lonely. Loneliness affects confidence, anxiety, and sleep patterns. Now, those folks most affected are 18 to 24, right? The very ones who were robbed of social contact in high school during the COVID lockdown. Gen Z, they're just really, really lonely. And finally, this, coming in at number 5, what do you think what first comes to mind when I say Elon Musk? Okay, is he great? Is he in trouble? Is he wonderful? Is he not? A Wall Street guru with a well-known anti-Tesla stance predicted that Tesla is going to go bust, going to go out of business. He said the stock is going to fall to $14. Now, true that Tesla's feeling the EV vehicle vibe and has seriously cut back production and prices. And, oh man, on the internet, customers who bought Tesla's so-called apocalypse-proof 82,000 Cybertruck are saying, oh, this thing isn't really that great. So is Elon in trouble? Okay, X is wobbly, EVs are being rejected, but Musk still has SpaceX and Starlink, both slam dunks. And his net worth, $195 billion. So in the words of Mark Twain, reports of Elon Musk's demise are greatly exaggerated. All right, coming up, we have your fabulous phone calls as well as some Google Map tricks you're going to want to try out immediately. We're also going to talk a little bit about texting 911. And of course, you have more of me, Kim Commando. Hey, I'm giving away a $500 gift card. Yes, I am. And I want to give it to you, but I can't give it to you if you don't enter to win at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Now, what's the catch? You have to get one newsletter from me. That's all. Just one newsletter. Just try it. Just look at it. Open it. That's all. winfromkim.com to get that $500 gift card. winfromkim.com. Hurry up because I'm going to be giving it away in just a few weeks. winfromkim.com. All right. How about we get started with Elizabeth in Des Moines, Iowa. Hi, Elizabeth.
I have it's a two-part question, and it's about TikTok and LinkedIn online jobs.
Okay.
And I heard Andrew talking about all the ads that are on TikTok now. And I was mentioning that to my boss, and she said she's addicted to TikTok, and she scrolls through those ads, and she's finding jobs for remote part-time data entry. Mm-hmm. And she thinks she can make extra money doing that. And she told me I might want to look into that. And first off, I don't go on TikTok. And second, I don't think they're real. And then also, my second part of my question is LinkedIn. I get a lot of daily emails from LinkedIn about job opportunities, and a lot of them have been for remote data entry jobs. And when you click on them, if you follow the links, they want you to pay money to apply for a job.
Of course they do, Elizabeth. You know that. My gosh, you're smarter. I can tell. Let's talk.
I just did it, and I'm sure that it read the thing, and it keeps sending me more and more and more.
Yeah, but, that whole algorithm just, you just like,
yeah.
Okay, here comes Elizabeth. We want to give her data entry jobs. Okay. TikTok ads, nobody vets them. Okay. And so I would be leery of clicking on any make money at home opportunity that I see advertised on TikTok and, or really just about anywhere. I mean, the worst thing you can do is also try to Google something like that. But legitimate jobs, they're not going to require you to pay money up front for training, job opportunities, equipment, anything like that. I mean, just because the job is remote, the same skills still apply to it and the same common sense, right? And also, be careful of where it says, data entry, you can make $125 an hour. Okay. And you're like, yes, that'd be amazing. Okay. Well, you know what? It's probably going to be a scam. Anytime they want personal financial information, poorly written job ads, and that used to be really a telltale sign, but because of ChatGPT, they can really write these job ads and they look so good, right? And so where can you find a legitimate data entry job? And so that's where you can go to you can do like LinkedIn, Indeed, and Glassdoor. Flex Jobs, remote.co is also another one. But whatever job that you find, is that you have to make sure that you totally vet this company. You want reviews, check the website, look for a solid online presence, social media profiles, and just don't share anything about yourself until you feel like, yes, this might be something that is legit. Now, if you start looking for data entry jobs, like you mentioned, suddenly you're going to be just flooded with all these other opportunities, right? Right. And so that's where you want to go in and maybe, delete your history, delete the cache, start a browser. If you start looking at these things, maybe you set up a private or incognito window. on Chrome or your browser, whatever browser that you happen to be using, so that this way your whole search and your whole life is not about data entry, because it does get rather annoying because you're like, okay, I mean, I find this because I may be looking at Instagram Reels, and I've spent over the last week or so, I've probably spent 25 hours on an airplane, and so. Traveling between Phoenix and Tokyo is a long way, right? And so I was scrolling, sitting there looking at Instagram Reels to pass the time. And I admit that I looked at a few of them because I thought I would be curious on this woman who had 8 kids, you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, everything on my Instagram reel is about these big families. And I'm like, okay, I just looked at one. Okay, that's just one video. That was it. Okay. And so it does get, you can go down that rabbit hole. But back to you with the job listings. Does that help you out?
Well, it does, but I've also received a few messages in LinkedIn from recruiters, I guess. And when you go and follow links or do searches for them online, I found one was in Singapore and one was in India. No. And I did do reviews. I did search, and I don't know if the reviews are fake, and I guess I don't know how to find out.
No, just, you know what, let's stick in the United States, okay? All right.
Okay.
Let's not go to Singapore. Oh, Singapore is a beautiful, beautiful place. It is. And India can certainly use your money, but I don't want you to get scammed. So just stick in the good old USA, and the recruiters, they can also just they can slide into your DMs too, because they're not vetted as well. I mean, nobody's vetted. Nobody is, right? And so, with the onslaught of AI, it makes their scams a lot easier to pull off, because now they can really appear to be too legit to quit. So just make sure that you have your eyes open. And again, just make sure that you're super smart. You don't need to be going down some job scam where you think you're going to be making money and then you're going to lose money. And then you're going to be calling me up and say, oh, Kim, I got scammed and how do I get my money back? And I'm going to say, Elizabeth, you should have listened. Elizabeth, you should have listened, which I would never do. I'm always going to help you out. You know that. But thanks for your call today. All right, let's see. David in Mesa, Arizona. Glad to have you with us.
You had a piece here not too far back ago where you said, well, there's a way you can make up a QR code on your modem so that when people are in your house and they want to use your Wi-Fi, that they can just point their phone at the QR code and it will automatically hook them up.
Yeah, so that's why you're not sitting there going, you're not sitting there saying, okay, the network name is this and the password is this and upper, lower case, 1258 and whatever it may be. Yeah, it's so annoying. And so the whole idea is that you get this QR code and you print it out and you put it in a frame. And whenever anybody comes over, they can just point their phone, as you said, just point their phone right at it, and it signs them automatically right into the network. What kind of phone do you have?
Samsung S20, whatever the latest one is.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to send you these instructions. Okay, but Samsung and Android, they actually have a way that you can create a QR code right on the phone, and it's all in the settings menu. And then you can take a screenshot of the QR code, and then you can just save that out. And it's like settings, connections, Wi-Fi, network, and internet. See where I'm going like this? It's like, oh my gosh, you got to go here, there. And then you're like, oh, there it is. Okay. And so it's like whatever. And that's where you can, like I said, you can take a screenshot of the QR code that they put on there. Now, otherwise, you can just go to a website called QR Code Monkey. And again, it's called QR Code Monkey. And this is where you type in your network name and password, and it creates a QR code for you right there. As a matter of fact, I like this website because you could create a QR code for anything, a page on your website, a business card, your Facebook page, whatever it may be that you want a QR code for, does it right there for free. And again, the website's called QR Code Monkey. But hang on the line, David, because we're going to send you those steps on how to do it on that Samsung S22. And like all things Android, every once in a while, the steps that we put, your mileage may vary because they're all different flavors of Android. And they seem to like tweak things just enough to make it annoying. And it does. So again, that's the QR code, that website. One more time for everybody, QR code monkey. Dave, thanks for your call. I just love taking your phone calls. I really do. Hey, by the way, if you're just too shy to come on a big time show and podcast and you have a question for me, really simple. Just head over to komando.com. That's Komando, komando.com. And then there's that link at the top that says email Kim. Yep, that's where the magic happens. I read every single note that you send me there. That's komando.com. And that big gold button at the top says email Kim. And speaking of phones, your phone rings, you look at it, and it's an unknown number, and you're like, oh, gosh, I'm so tired getting these spam phone calls. What can I do to make them stop? All right, so you signed up for the National Do Not Call Registry, but those calls, they just keep coming. Now, the deal is that the Do Not Call Registry list is great against legal telemarketers, but the scammers, they don't follow the rules. They're outside the system. So what can you do? Arm yourself with caller ID or a call blocking app like Hiya, Truecaller, RoboKiller. They can help identify and even block some shady numbers. But keep in mind that you might want to tap into your carrier first because so many of them have free call blocking apps too. Now, if a robocall does sneak through, just hang up. Don't press any buttons. Don't talk back. It only takes 3 seconds for a scammer to steal your voice. And remember, never, ever share personal info like your social security number or credit card details on a call that you just did not initiate. All right, stay right where you are. I've got some Google tricks you're going to love here on the Kim Komando Show.
This radio program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
You know, Google Maps is so cool. It really is. I'll tell you, one of the things that I've been using with it is that you say when you want to show up at some place, right? And then it tells you when you should leave based on real-time traffic conditions. And you don't have to do it like that moment. You can do it like the next day or whatever. And I've got actually 3 more Google Maps tricks coming up that you don't want to miss. And then later on, texting 911, what you need to know about it before you actually use it. And before we go back to all of your phone calls, have you ever tried to organize a shopping list of like who's bringing what for a school event, a scout troop, church function, or a reunion? It can be a nightmare. But here's some ideas. You want to use a shared note-taking app. Okay, many of them, like Google Keep, which, by the way, if you have not tried Google Keep, it's pretty amazing. On Apple, we have Notes, Microsoft OneNote, Evernote. They let you create shared notes that can be accessed and edited by multiple people. So you just simply create a new note for your shopping list, and then you share it with everybody you want to work with. Another way, you can use a dedicated shopping list app. There's so many out there for both iPhone and Android. Some of the more popular ones, AnyList, Out of Milk, and Our Groceries. Just make a new list within the app, and then you invite others to join in. Now, with these apps, there's also a great benefit because, you know, there's always that one person who forgets things. And you're like, how could you forget the Capri Sun? How could you do that? You can also remind people the day before an event what they are supposed to bring. Yeah, love that part. All right, let's see. Sandra in Detroit, glad to have you with us.
Well, first of all, I love your show, love listening to you. And I know you do 26 miles a week. I do about 70, 75 miles a week.
Wow. Really? How do you do that?
Yes. I'm a walker. I do a lot of walking. I walk, I play tennis, I bike. And I'm 81 years old.
You're 81 and you're doing 70 miles a week? Dang, girl. Yes. Love you. That's awesome.
5-mile walk for me is a short walk.
That's great. Good for you.
But I'm not working all week the way you are.
Yeah, so. That's the problem.
Yeah. I really appreciate you having me on the show. I want to cut the cord like a lot of people are cutting the cord. When I wrote to you, I hadn't bought any equipment for cutting the cord yet. Now I have the equipment waiting for me. I haven't done anything with it, and I could really send back and switch out if you advise me differently.
What did you buy?
Okay, so I bought a Linksys mesh system.
Good.
I bought 2 antennas. I don't know if I need 2. I might only need 1.
I think you only need 1. You only need 1.
All right. I stayed with Comcast.
Okay.
For the internet, and what I have is 400. No, they just raised it to 500. Okay. 500 megabytes.
Okay, that's good.
For the house. 3 TVs, 2 iPads, 2 iPhones, Ring doorbell, Ring camera in the back of the house.
Okay.
So I think the 500 is enough.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's good. You'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
So what about the equipment that I bought? Or do you recommend particular brands or something different?
Well, no, everything that you bought's good. Okay, you did a good job with that. Okay. And so now it comes time for you to figure out which services that you're going to sign up for.
That I know. Whether I want Netflix or whether I want
Hulu, Paramount Plus, this goes on and on.
Yeah, and I also want to have live TV. So what I bought should be able to provide that for me?
Correct.
Okay, that was my main thing. Am I getting the right stuff to get live TV? Just a couple services.
Yeah, the OTA, over the air antenna, that'll be fine. Okay. And then that's how you're going to get your local channels.
I only need 1 of those, even though I have 3 TVs?
Yeah, because they can set up repeaters. So that's not a big deal. This is something you probably want to have somebody come out and put all this together for you.
Me.
Well, you can do it. Sounds like you could totally do it. But I'm just saying, throw an antenna up outside on the roof, or putting it. You can put it on inside of the house too. But you've got all the gear, but now you've got to install all the gear, and then after that, that's when you decide which services that you want. Now, one of the things that you didn't mention, and since you have an iPhone, is I would probably throw an Apple TV in that mix.
I was going to maybe buy. You mean Apple TV? You mean an Apple TV streaming?
Yes, or even an Apple TV box. Okay, so in order to get Apple TV, you're going to need the box. So you buy the box. Okay. And then what that allows you to do is to have all your content that is on. You get Apple TV, and it gives you a whole bunch of good shows, and then but then it also gives you access to Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, whatever it is that you might want to stream at that point. But because you have iPhones and iPads already in this Apple ecosystem, that's where I want to keep you in that Apple ecosystem and not say go buy a Sling TV or whatever it may be, or Tableau, whatever. And so just get the Apple TV box. We're going to add that to this whole mixture. And
I buy it through Amazon?
Sure, you can do that. Not a problem.
Okay.
And then you're gonna have somebody install the mesh network, the Apple TV, hook it up to the Comcast, turn on the over the air antenna, install that, make sure that works, and sometimes we start looking at these, I don't want to say complicated situations, but sometimes it's easier just to have somebody come over, and rather than you get all frustrated and trying to do it for, a day and a half, is that you can call somebody and they could probably do it, probably set all this up in, 3-4 hours, something like that, and have it all up and running for you. But you bought the right stuff, and I'm so proud of you, 70 miles a week. Dang, you're my idol. I want to be you when I'm 81. I do. Sandra, thank you for your call. Wow, here's a question I haven't gotten in a long time. Stephen in Wilmington, North Carolina. Hi there, Stephen.
All right. I'm an old-fashioned guy, not much of a tech guy, but I bought a new car, and it doesn't come with a CD. And me and my wife don't agree what we're going to listen on the radio, so we compromise by listening to books on CD while we're driving places.
Okay.
And so I'm looking for something that I can plug into my car, and we can still carry on with that tradition.
So how many years did it take you to figure out to get a CD with a book on it, and this way you guys don't bicker whether it's country or AC?
That just sort of happened because I was listening to books, and then we were on trips, and I said, "Hey, you want to listen to the book with me?" Yeah, okay, we can do that.
Right.
So
That's good. All right.
It works.
So, the new car, does it have Bluetooth, and does it have a USB port?
Yes, it has USB port. I know that.
Okay. All right.
And Bluetooth, it has that, but I don't know what to do with Bluetooth. So,
well, what you can do, either way is the connection that you're going to do in order to get the CD player to work with the sound system inside the new car. Okay.
Okay.
Totally up to you. The USB port is going to probably give you a better experience, better quality. You don't have to worry about keeping the thing charged up all the time because it is wired and it's going to be getting some power from that USB port. On the other hand, the Bluetooth player is going to be cheaper, about half the price, maybe even less than that. And it's portable, so you can take it from car to car. Totally up to you. But let me just tell you that if it were me, I would go with the USB port, just so I don't have to worry about, is it charged up? And then you guys are sitting there and you're driving 400 or 500 miles and you run out of juice. And then she looks at you and says, "What is wrong with Taylor Swift? What is wrong?"
Okay.
And you're like,
okay.
"I just don't want to listen to Taylor Swift." And then she's going to say, "You know what, honey? Do you love me? Do you really love me?" And you're going to say, "Yes." And she's going to say, "You know what? The CD player ran out of juice. And if you really loved me, we'd turn on Taylor Swift."
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, and then at that point, you know what? You got nothing to do. You have nothing in your pocket. You're done. You're done. You're listening to Taylor Swift for the next 4 or 5 hours, over and over and over again. Okay, so you're going to get the USB port version, right? That's what you're going to do. So here's what we're going to do, Stephen. I'm going to put you on hold. And beautiful Amber's screening calls today, and then she's going to send you out a link. It's about $200 versus the Bluetooth version with anti-skip and all the other good stuff is about $60. But, I'm telling you, worth the money unless you really want to listen to her favorite group that you just can't stand for 400 miles over and over and over again. Yeah. Get the USB port. Speaking of CDs, here's one that you can tell the kids. You ready? If you lose your pizza cutter, you can always use a Bryan Adams CD to cut the pizza. Why? It cuts like a knife. Oh, I know. I heard you groan at that one. All right, whether you're a seasoned traveler or someone who just likes to explore new coffee shops around town, you can be a Google Maps pro, but there could be some tricks you don't know about. Like number one, you can mark your favorite places like restaurants, parks, or any spot that you really love. Just tap on the place and then hit save. It makes it super easy to find them later, or better yet, share them with friends. Number two, offline maps. Yes. Ever find yourself in a spot with bad or no internet or no cellular? Well, what you can do is just get the directions you need. Tap on the place name at the bottom, and then there's the magical button, download. I mean, this is a total lifesaver when you have no cell service, or even if you're traveling overseas, no roaming charges. Yes. And finally, number three is just my favorite. Say you're heading out and you want to have someone else to know where you're located. Maybe you're going to meet up. Just share your location. You start the navigation and then swipe up from the bottom menu. And there you can tap Share Trip Progress and choose who you want to share with. They're going to see where you're located until you actually arrive. So it's no more like, how far away are you? When are you going to get here? Nope, it's all there. All right, still to come, we have more great phone calls you don't want to miss, as well as later on, some do's and don'ts about texting 911. I've got the scoop here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, just a quick reminder, if you have not already, I want to give you $500. Yes, I do. I want to give you $500. And how do you do that? Well, you just go to that special address, winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com. This time you're going to win a $500 Amazon gift card. So when you give me your email address, I'm not going to sell, lease, distribute your email address to anybody ever. It's just going to be used for you to enter the contest and get one issue of my newsletter. That's it. You just have to try one issue of my newsletter, and it's free. You're going to love it. Again, that special address, winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. All right, let's see. Kay in Bourne, Massachusetts. Hello there, Kay.
One of my questions is if I were to get a new car, would you use your telephone for navigation, or would you pay to have the navigation as part of the car package?
I would use my phone.
Okay.
And just hook my phone into my car using Apple CarPlay, or if I'm an Android, the Android Play system. And because there's no reason to pay for a manufacturer's navigation system when I already have that built into my phone. And with the Apple CarPlay, for example, is that it's not only brings in my navigation into the whole onboard infotainment system, but I also have my text messages that I can respond to while I'm driving by just saying, hey, Siri, reply with this. You have your music, you have your contacts, and all kinds of great things like that.
Okay, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about not having navigation in my car because I've always had that until somebody mentioned it recently. When we travel to Europe, I take along a Garmin and I buy an SD card for the area we're going to.
Sure.
So there's ways around it. And I thought, well, I'm curious what Kim thinks about that.
Well, if you do go to Europe next time, you don't necessarily need to bring the GPS and the SD card and all that other stuff. Is that when you are in the hotel, wherever you are, you have free Wi-Fi or you're on the Wi-Fi, is that you will go say, how do I get from point A to point B, whether it's on car, bus, train, whatever it may be. And then you can, whether you're on Google Maps or now Apple Maps, is that you can download all these maps for what's called offline use. And offline use is just that you're not going to be using the expensive cellular plan or data roaming charges or whatever it may be when you're not in the country. And it's going to be solely giving you that map as if you were offline. And so you're not using an internet connection for that.
Okay. Very good. Yes. My other question is, and you touched briefly on it, is how safe are the password saving apps? I do use one. I use 1Password. I'm addicted to it, I guess, at this point, or used to it, or would never want to give it up. But it's concerning. How safe are these password apps?
We took a look at the various password saving apps. We looked at 1Password, LastPass, there's KeePass, there just seems to be a whole bunch of them out there, Dashlane, whatever it may be. We actually settled on not 1Password, we settled on Keeper Security. We found it to be better, more robust. You can also easily share passwords. You can put this as part of your estate documents, good things like that. They are safe. You have to make sure that you have a good, solid password management program. Never want to use one for free. Okay, that's just bad news. You want to be able to pay for this. And that's where we settled on Keeper Security. So if you go to keepersecurity.com/Kim, you can get 50% off. They have personal family plans as well as enterprise level plans, by the way. But as for me, I use Keeper Security. It's the one that I recommend. And it's one that I would hope that you be using too. And again, that's keepersecurity.com/Kim. And once again, your deal is you get 50% off. I think it's just fascinating that we talk about subscriptions for cars, by the way. And, cars are going subscription. I'm talking about like whole cars you can subscribe to. Like, for example, Volvo has a program that's $600 to $800 a month. That includes insurance, maintenance, and then you can swap cars every 4 months. Audi has a similar program, Book by Cadillac, Canvas by Ford Credit. Man, I'm telling you, everything is subscription nowadays. All right, still to come, some do's and don'ts about texting 911 here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, imagine this. A criminal breaks into your house and they don't know that you're there, but you're hiding, you're panicking, you're in the closet, but you have your phone. Should you call or text 911? Are you going to call or text 911? Okay. A text message, obviously, because you don't want anybody to hear your voice, but there's a catch. In an emergency where you cannot talk, a text to 911 might be safer, but here's the rub. It's not as accurate as actually calling 911. An NBC investigation found that a text to 911 doesn't always reveal the location. And without that location data, first responders can't do anything to help you. So what's the workaround? Here's what you need to know. Text your address to 911 to be on the safe side, okay? And then you can always keep the line open without speaking if you do call them. They're going to dispatch help to verify if there is a problem or not. But again, just always put that address there. Hey, listen, don't forget to win that $500 gift card at winfromkim.com.